Hi, welcome to another episode of the Hustle Diaries. I'm Amaira Shah, and with me here today, I have a very special guest who has carved a niche for herself in the world of hairstyling. She owns a salon called Enhance, and we are here to speak to her about her entrepreneurial journey in the business where men and women come for daily grooming to get ready for the most important moments of their lives. Hi Namrita, welcome to the Hustle Diaries.
Thank you for having me, Amaira.
I'm very happy to have you on this show. So, the Hustle Diaries is a channel where we like to share entrepreneurial journeys like yourself with our audience. Do not think of this as an interview, but more like a
I'm
conversation.
glad that it's only a conversation.
So, our very first segment is called KYE or Know Your Entrepreneur. And in the first segment, we'll sort of get to know you as a person. So, the very first question is so, can you tell us a bit about yourself? Where did you grow up? Where did you study? And how were you at studies?
I grew up in Mumbai. I went to Cathedral and then moved to KC College. Academically, I was terrible. I was the worst child, like a mother's nightmare, basically. My mother had one story to tell as of today. There was once a telemarketing ad going on TV years ago, and they had Wonder Mops over there.
Okay.
And I told my mother, why don't you buy one of these Wonder Mops? They do great for the house cleaning. She looked at me, and 2 minutes later, she turned around and told me I should buy one for you because the way your life is going, I think you'll be fit enough for a Wonder Mop. So that was that really hurt me at some point where I realized that those words hit me so hard that I was like, now I need to prove myself to her. And as of today, I'm glad that she knows that I don't just need one Wonder Mop, I can buy her many for her to start cleaning now.
Yeah, of course. I mean, completely changed. Yes. So the second question, when did your entrepreneurial journey start? And if you remember any people or events along the road that got you here?
Like I said, my mother's words hurt me and hit me so hard that I said, now I need to prove myself. Academically, I knew that this was not going to get me anywhere. There were only two options back then. It would be either fashion designing or hairstyling. Fashion, I knew nothing about clothes, materials, nothing. So the next best option was
Hairstyling.
hairstyling. So, and I knew I didn't want to do a desk job. So this was perfect where I didn't have to dress up to go to office. I could come in casual clothes, and that was where it began. That's where I found my calling. I was like, this is it.
That's really interesting. So, did you have any like role models? You said your mother like really give you that kickstart, but do you have anyone else who like sort of shaped your journey or like both as like a person and like as an entrepreneur?
She's my business partner. So she's the only one who could have shaped me to what I am and where I am today. So I have my role model is my mother. She helps me till today, and that's it.
That's really nice. So, what are some of the qualities of you as a person that form you as like and your work ethic and how you sort of like your daily life and how you sort of function?
I think it's mainly to do with the fact that consistency, showing up to work every day, no matter what,
Yeah.
routine. I think it's basically just routine that helps me to get where I am.
So consistency. is key.
Consistency.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Okay, so that was our first segment. Moving on to the second. So our second segment is called Shop Talk, and this is where we sort of come to know what an entrepreneur does and their entire business and what it's like. So, from whatever I've researched, I know that Enhance has made a name by itself in otherwise a very competitive market. So, can you tell the viewers a little bit about the hairstyling industry and how you have managed to create such a niche sort of thing like Enhance?
It had more to do with personal touch. when you're one-on-one with a client, I think it makes a big difference. Having a salon, having staff run it is one thing, but when you're there, it makes sharing a rapport with them makes a big difference. Having
course.
staff running a salon is one thing, but when you're there,
It's another thing.
personal touch is quite important.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really helped with, with the competition around. Most places, the owners are not there, or they're not hairstylists themselves. They're more business owners.
Yeah.
So it makes a difference when you're a business owner and a stylist
At the same
at the
time.
same time.
That's interesting. So what do you think have been some of the biggest challenges and successes? Were there any decisions or events that really changed the course of your business?
There have been a couple of challenges, some that have been funny, some that have not been so nice. But I think more or less what we try to do is send back everyone happy. So when they're happy, it's automatically successful.
Of course, yes.
There can be many times, and we're hoping fewer than the happier ones, that, sometimes people are not sure of what they want. Sometimes we're unable to understand what they want.
Yeah.
That makes it a challenge.
Of course,
And in
yeah.
today's day and age where fashion has become so rampant with hair, everyone wants to get their hair done, with so many changes in styles where sometimes we're unable to keep up with certain things. So that becomes a challenge then.
I mean, fashion has becoming so fast-paced.
So hence we have to keep up, and sometimes when we're unable to keep up, it becomes a bit of a challenge. But we're hoping that we overcome those most often than not.
Okay. And so were there any like decisions that like really changed the course of your business as such?
Not as of now. I mean,
of now.
we've started and we're the same since we started. I haven't had any change of
So
any.
when did you start your business?
11 years ago.
11 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
11 years ago. It's been a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, but there haven't been any changes as of now.
Okay, okay. So this is something we ask all of our guests. So, what are your thoughts on competition, especially because hairstyling has such a massive competition? Do you believe like there's something a healthy competition, or like how do you sort of
Oh,
approach it?
100%. We have 11 salons in the same lane. And competition is good. It keeps you on your toes and makes you strive for better. So, healthy competition is necessary in every business. I believe that. I mean, others might think differently, but I think that competition is good. It keeps you going and it makes you want to work that much harder.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Now that you look back at your entire journey, would you have done anything different?
Yes, I would have liked to get a bigger place. Now, in retrospect, I feel like a bigger place would have worked better. I could have added a lot more services, space constraint.
Yeah.
I mean, now after 11 years, I feel like if I had done anything different, it would have been to get a larger space. But I mean, then again, I was starting off, so I didn't really think it may or may not have worked. But now that I look back, I feel like, yes, I should have got a larger space.
But why not expanding? Do you think like you're going to expand in the future? Like knowing that after 11 years, like where you've reached?
11 years ago, I was much younger.
No, I'm
Now-
saying like sort of like now.
Now I feel like expansion is a bit too much for me to handle. If I started off with that, I may have been able to deal with that now. But now starting off again and expanding into a newer place, or finding another place to work with, I don't think I can be at two places at one time.
Yeah.
And finding a larger space in South Bombay is very hard.
It's really hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think
So if maybe it was 11 years ago, then you could
that
have.
was my regret.
So that is it for segment 2. So this is a fun segment where I'm just gonna ask you like on the spot like questions, and it's called Speed Slam.
Something
So
like Karan Johar's rapid fire.
kind of like that. So you have to respond like really quickly. Okay, are you ready?
He got a lot of people into trouble. I hope you're not going to get me into any trouble.
I'm not sure what your answers are going to be. Okay, so the first question, rank between the following factors that you think made your business successful: strategy, innovation and trends, entrepreneurship, which is like the risk taking ability, cost effectiveness, and uniqueness.
Okay, I might fumble, but uniqueness being the first.
Okay,
Second being strategy.
strategy,
Third being trend.
innovation and trends,
Yes. Fourth being, repeat the other two that I've left
cost
out.
effectiveness and entrepreneurship.
Okay, so cost effectiveness, because I know nothing about numbers. And entrepreneurship too would also mean a lot of numbers and back and forth on accounts and being the man in the house. But no, the last two I have no answer for because that is managed by my partner, who's my mother, and I have zero idea on any of that. So those don't even fit my bill right now.
So why have you ranked
Unique.
uniqueness and all as like the first?
Because unique being me being around all the time, I find that that has been my biggest strength, different from a lot of other places where owners usually are just sitting at the desk, like I said in the earlier segment, that, when I'm there, it runs.
Yeah,
And I feel like it makes a very big difference.
of course.
So
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why uniqueness was one of my first picks. Second, I said was strategy. We do work on different ways and forms of how to deal with people, how to work around things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff involved in that, so I feel like strategy would be second. Trends, I mean, we follow whatever is in vogue. South Bombay women are kind of very, I'm not going to use the word, but anyway, vanilla. So they have the same style, everyone wants the same thing. So trends don't really matter in South Bombay as much as they would in Bandra.
Okay.
And the other two don't fit my bill anyway. So that's my rank
Okay,
and why I
that's your
rank them.
ranking. Okay. So have you ever said a white lie to get your work done?
So now you're putting a Karan Johar on me. Pretty much.
Yes.
I
would
would say yes.
Would you sort of say what that white lie was?
No, I'm not going to get into trouble. But yes, we've had many along the way.
Okay. Who does your hair?
I have a staff of about 6 of them. So anyone that's free at the same time as me can do my
Your hair.
Yeah.
So they cut your hair, style your hair,
Everything.
Okay. What were the last 3 books or TV shows or movies or whatever that you have watched?
If I was very academically inclined, I would not be running a salon. So I don't read books, and I'm not going to lie about that. I watch a lot of shows in my free time. The last 3 I watched were Perfect Couple, a documentary. I can't remember the name quite clearly.
But it was a documentary.
A documentary. And the other one I saw was one chick flick that had Adam Brody in it.
Okay.
Nobody wants this. Yeah. That
Nobody wants
Yeah,
this.
this was.
Okay,
the
so you're
last
into
3.
like the chick flick
Yeah,
sort
I
of.
want to wind down. I don't want to watch anything that's very, peaceful, fun. I can be on my phone while watching things.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to stick with something serious and
Yeah, I'm the
just wanna-
same, yeah.
just chill and do nothing. And if it's playing in the background, it can continue playing.
Continue playing. So, what are the top 3 hairstyles that women want today? I know you said that South Bombay people are very vanilla,
Vanilla.
but are there like any sort of like top 3 hairstyles that you think that
I mean,
people?
mostly whatever Instagram shows us, which is the butterfly haircut right now, it's everyone wants
Everyone
that.
wants
Yeah.
it.
Again, no one wants to go short. So it has
No
to
one
be,
wants to go short.
no, South Bombay vanilla. No short. Long hair layers. And we still want to change that. I don't know how we
Yeah.
can make a change in long hair and layers, but that's it. I
Okay.
mean, there are pretty much the standard haircuts that we all have. It could be less layers, more layers.
But it's sort of in that realm.
Yeah, and butterfly is very popular right
Very
now.
popular.
That's it.
Nice, nice. Okay, on to segment 4. So this brings us to our very last segment called Learn from the Master, where we help our budding entrepreneurs get a little bit of an insight as to any like parting thoughts or like words that you want to give to them. So based on your experience, what would your advice be to our budding entrepreneurs in terms of what are like the must-haves and what to sort of watch out for?
You watch out for basically what you need to do is just show up all the time, and I think there's nothing else to stop you if you've made up your mind.
Yeah.
Don't give up easily, and I think that'll keep you going, and it'll only make sure whether you like what you're doing or not like what you're doing. But till you don't try it, you won't know.
So basically to try and then just like dip your legs in the pond and see if you sort of
Correct.
like it or not. Okay. What traits do you think people in my age group, which is like 15 to 20, should develop to have a successful career as an entrepreneur?
You need to be consistent, like I said earlier. A routine is important. You need to, I mean, you basically just need to do what you like. Give it a shot. Don't accept defeat so easily. Things work out sometimes, things don't.
Do not,
But
yeah.
Till you don't get to doing what you set your mind on, you'll never know whether you like it or you don't, or whether it'll work out or it won't.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, especially for you, like, you had, like, your parent support. So I think one thing that what our entrepreneurs would sort of, like, get from this is that, like, one place is that, like, they shouldn't feel like alone. There are other people
There
to
are
sort
other
of
people, and take
support
the
you.
advice from your elders. They've been through it. They've had many more experiences that they've failed and succeeded in.
Yeah.
So why not learn from those rather than, fall into the ditch and then have to learn the harder way.
The harder way. Okay. Once someone finishes high school, what would you suggest are like the first sort of few good steps that one should take?
Before you dive into opening up your own business and becoming an entrepreneur, it's always nice to gain some experience somewhere else in your field.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about your own business through a different aspect as an employee, which then when you become an employer will be easier to face. There are so many issues that sometimes as an entrepreneur you can face. Employees, they have many, you can have many ups and downs with them.
Yeah.
Finance could be one of
Yeah.
the issues.
Yeah.
But if you worked before, you're already prepared for
Prepared.
things
Yeah.
like this. So it doesn't come as hard onto you as it would if
Yeah,
you
of
just
course,
dive into
yeah.
going into opening up
Yeah.
your own business.
Without
You-
having any
Yeah,
experience.
so if you
yeah.
gained your experience somewhere, you'll know at least the basic up and down of a running
it is.
business.
Did you get any like experience like anywhere?
I did. I did do a course prior to my whole hairdressing. I went to Tony and Guy in Singapore, learned. Soon after that, I did work at two different places. One with an older woman and one with a middle-aged girl. So she was young when she opened up her salon. And two different experiences, two different mindsets. It gave me a wider spectrum to gauge for myself as to what I wanted to pick up from both.
Yeah.
And I think I was 18 at that point. So I've been able to gain enough experience to have then started off.
Been wanting to
my
be
own.
like aspiring entrepreneur since 18.
I wouldn't say that. My mother was actually not very happy with me opening up my own business when I wanted to.
Okay.
I was a very whimsical child to begin with. So she was very, very nervous about me starting up and then saying, oh, now I've had enough, I'm done with this, I don't want to do this anymore. So she was a little hesitant because the one thing she was very clear about was not taking loans from anywhere to start off my business.
Yeah.
So I did get help from my parents to start off,
Yeah.
and then slowly paid them off. Eventually, I'm the only child, so I'm hoping that money does come back to me at some point. But it was important because when I did have to pay him back, there was a set goal for me.
Yeah.
I knew that I had to work hard enough to pay him off, but it kind of eased
Eased it a bit. Yeah.
my tension because I knew I didn't have to make
Yeah.
payments to a bank or like a official.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it did help me in that way. So my pure suggestion is don't just dive into opening up your own place. Do gain experience before you feel like this is exactly what you want to do and it will work, because otherwise it's tough on you.
Yeah, I mean, that's great that you had supportive parents, and I do agree. Like right now, I did an internship, and even though it was just like 1 month, I gained so much experience from just doing that compared to like just learning like textbook stuff. So I do agree.
Correct.
Even though I'm just 16, I did learn like
Wow.
a lot. Yeah.
Brings me back to my own time.
So the one question that most of like aspiring hairstylists want to know is that how do they build customer and client sort of like loyalty when they first start off? Like any thoughts about that?
Basically, when you have a new client coming to you, you talk to them, you find out what they do, what they're looking for. You chat them up in a personal way where you learn about your client so they feel comfortable. When they're comfortable, you know that your work will be better because you've learned about your client.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, when you gain that rapport, that trust, she should trust you, he should trust you, you trust yourself to work better. So it's only a question about a rapport that you build with your client, and that will gain you the loyalty eventually.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So that brings us to our very last question. Are there any other sort of parting thoughts that you think?
No, like we said in the earlier questions, pretty much the same.
Pretty much the
Just
same.
trust in yourself, but give it a shot because the younger generation now gives up very
Easily. Yeah.
So don't accept defeat so easily. If it doesn't work out, there's another way to tackle the same. But don't give up. When you give up and you accept defeat, then there's nothing that can help you.
I think one thing that everyone, I think, and the viewers would understand is that would be that there should always be consistency and to sort of never give up and continue even though there are downfalls.
Correct.
Which is basically like an entrepreneur and like the main things of.
True. And if you don't like what you're doing currently, you can always explore different aspects, but don't give up so easily.
Yeah. Okay, great. I want to sincerely thank you for joining us on the Hustle Diaries. I'm sure your journey and insights will greatly benefit our viewers. So it was a privilege to have you on this show. Thank you.